Hey, Instagram. Hey, YouTube. Robert Conley here live with you. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm educated in accounting. I had a fruitful 20-year commercial real estate career, and I am an expert in personality types and natural abilities. I am here to help solve problems. And I do that by helping people see the big picture. I help people think accurately about things, and I give steps to solve problems that are particular to a person's natural abilities and personality type. So, uh, yeah, this is a work in progress, and I've told people from the start. I started doing these January 4th, and it's a matter of just being willing to put them out there every day, whether they're perfect or not. And so, one of the things that I have been working on is making it clearer as to what my intention is up front. So, this is titled "Empathy is Bullshit" Part Two. And a lot of times sequels aren't as good as the originals. Um, but I got a fair amount of feedback from the one I did yesterday, and I want to expound on it. So, to review, the battle between empathy and systemizers, or in Myers Briggs typology terms, feelers versus thinkers. Um, the in the extreme, someone with zero empathy is a sociopath. They technically, it's the lack of empathy is a sign of sociopathology. And by the same token, someone who operates on 100% empathy is someone who is not living their own life. They're just a shadow of someone else. And so empathy is a balancing act. And the message that I was trying to put forward yesterday is to understand your natural style, which way you lean, and don't try to convert yourself into something that you aren't. The real question is, what approach gives you energy and gives others energy and keeps things moving forward? And I want to share a personal story about this. I have four kids. One of them is autistic, and he started showing signs of abnormal development at around 1 year old. And we got introduced to a autism expert uh, over at UCLA, and she met with us before, like a month or two before his second birthday. She made it clear that she always hesitated to diagnose kids with autism prior to their second birthday, but said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is." And so that kicked in a whole new level of interaction between the medical community and I guess I'll call it the scientific community, as far as what are the next steps for us to take. And so, by virtue of the insurer we had and other things, we got sent down the medical road, and we got sent to a neurologist. And the visit with the neurologist, while waiting for the neurologist, our son fell asleep in his mom's arms. And the neurologist came in, held my son for a minute or two, looked at him. Our son was never fully awake. The doctor handed our son back to my ex-wife and looked at us and said, "Your son is autistic and mentally retarded. You might as well get used to that right now." Turned and walked out of the room. And in the only time that I ever cried over my son being autistic, my ex-wife and I both broke into tears. It was very harsh. It was incredibly harsh. Um, I mean, you talk about a lack of empathy. Now, the gift was that he put it in such a harsh term that our wishful thinking, hoping it weren't so, was abruptly started and changed us into, how do we deal with this? And we actually engaged in resources that provided tons of empathy and tons of realistic ways of coping and handling solutions. And so that very unempathetic moment triggered a lot of positive energy, a lot of of moving in the right direction and dealing with reality. So, if you can't tell, I mean, I do possess a serviceable level of empathy, but I do always go towards system. And so I want to share one other thing. When I decided to leave a career in commercial real estate, which was it's a harsh environment, and there's not a lot of room for empathy in commercial real estate either. So it was a good career, but I was so interested in systems, and I saw the systems that could be used in human productivity and in moving the ball forward, so to speak, that I became very enamored of that. But one of the things that I had to encounter was that many people that who I had visibility to in my world um, were much higher on the empathy scale than they were on the system scale. And um, I there are a fair number of guys that were a lot like Mr. Rogers, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. They're just warm people, and I would think to myself, I'm not one of those guys. And fortunately, one of my mentors said, "No, you're not, and you bring something different to the table. You bring a commitment to people doing the right thing. You bring a commitment to people thinking accurately about their issues, and that's how you." Bob, as in your position, can help others move the ball forward. So I want to urge you in your own life to explore that, to examine it, and to watch, wow, when I try to be empathetic, that actually freezes the action because I really don't know. I don't get bearings from being empathetic. I get bearings from being system focused. And, you know, this is also, so there's a different dynamic at play in personal relationships versus in your business relationships. And so this is you need to bring a higher level of empathy even when you're not able to. You need to push yourself a little bit more for empathy if you're not highly empathetic in a personal relationship. But by the same token, if you are a just the facts person, I would say, okay, work on your diplomacy, but as I mentioned yesterday, hold on to the fact that you're honest. Hold on to the fact that you're coming from even though others might perceive you to be mean or cold, that you're actually coming from a perspective of concern for what's best for the other person. And so, in your ongoing life, be present to what is happening there. Be in touch with your own energy, and if you're a harsh just the facts, ma'am, then be the harsh, just the facts, ma'am. And if you're an empath, be an empath and realize that you actually, when you team up with someone that is of that other type, that you actually now ignite a higher level of power, whether it's in your business or in your relationships. So I wanted to do part two because I got enough feedback where people are like, wait, what are you doing? I'm like, no, it's not an attack on empathy. It's just the fact that I don't feel like I hear enough of the other side of the coin, and I want those who are on the other side of the coin to feel just as empowered and to understand that it's not your place to waste energy. So, all right. At this point, I think I'm just going to start repeating myself. So I'm going to sign off and say, have a great day, and I will see you next time.